I'm showing you how I mass produced these today. Hey, this is Carrie with Canary Quilts, and this is week number 4 of the Tula Pink Butterfly 2nd edition quilt along that I'm doing. This is a pattern by Tula Pink, obviously, and she puts together all these little pieced type blocks, and they're all different types of blocks that end up in a beautiful butterfly quilt. If you're new here, this is what the quilt looks like. It's absolutely gorgeous. So basically I'm walking through and doing 2 blocks a week and until we get to the end of the quilt, and then we'll spend about 4 weeks putting different sections of this quilt together. I think there's 9 sections, and then we're gonna have, I think, a queen size quilt. It is a big quilt. But today we are doing more log cabins. We did log cabins last week, we're doing log cabins this week, and we're doing medium and small. Last week I did large and mini. So we have 6 of these medium log cabins, and you can see them back here on the wall, or the rest of the 4. And these are 2 of them. And we have 3 different colorways for these 6. And then we have 16 of these small log cabins, and I have those back here. So we have 6 of the purple ones, and then 2 and 5 more colorways, which I have down here. So these are the 5 colorways we're going to be working on this week. The construction is exactly the same as last week, but this week I'm going to show you how I put all 16 of these together at the same time and keep the colors together so that I don't get mixed up. So if you're wondering how to do that, I'm going to show you today. And I also walk through how I come up with my colors. Also, that's one of the hardest parts, is they only give you colorways, but they don't tell you which fabrics to use. So I've gone through and picked the fabrics out for my blocks, and if you like what I use, you can head to my website. I have a link down below, and I list out the fabrics I use for each of these blocks. So if you don't want to take the time to do that and you like the blocks, you can find all the fabrics there that I use. I also want to let you know that if you're thinking about doing this quilt, but you don't want to start right now, these videos will be up pretty much forever. If you want to start next year, you can come back and reference these videos then. I have a link to the quilt down below also, just to let you know that if you check out those links, they really do help the channel out, and I really do appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button, notification bell. You get notified when I put up all these blocks and do all the sections and complete the quilt. Plus I've got other fun things I'm doing here. I'm doing another Tula Pink quilt that's a paper piece. I'm doing a mystery block of the month. I'm doing this Christmas one right now, which is a lot of fun. So yeah, if you hit the subscribe button, notification bell, I don't think you'll be disappointed. So yeah, let's have fun. But anyway, let's get started on these blocks. All right, we're here at the medium and small log cabin. So we did 2 log cabins last week. We did the large and the mini. These log cabins are going to be constructed exactly the same, except putting their colors together was a little more difficult. So the first one I'm going to be working on, the medium, has 6 blocks. 2 in a colorway. So we have 3 different colorways here. We have a purple, and then we have 2 variations of teal. So one thing I did notice on the front is that this 3rd fabric here and this 4th fabric here actually meet each other right here in the front of the butterfly. So I wanted to make sure that I got those correct. So that 3rd fabric and this 4th fabric are right here basically. So I'm going to walk through my fabrics, and I've done my cuts already also. Oops, that's a cut that needs to go over there. This first one, the purple, I've got the dark purple starting here, and it's also going to be the 4th fabric. And you have to times all your fabrics by 2, remember, so you can get 2 blocks. So 1 and 4 are going to be this dark purple. The next one, the 2 and the 5, are going to be this purple and pink floral. And then 3 and 6 are going to be this mineral print right here in purple. So I've got those cuts right here. I've got the 1 and 4s, the 2 and 5s, and the 3 and 6s. And I've marked them the same as I did over here so that I could keep track of what I was cutting. So again, the numbers on that I have on these tell me which one of these to cut. So 2 and 5, I have to cut this one and I have to cut this one. So I know which ones to cut out of this fabric. And then this just helps me keep track of which cuts these are. The 2s are the 2 small ones, the 5s are the 2 larger ones. The 1 is the square and the 4 is the rectangles. And the same down here. 3 is the short, 6 is the long ones. Okay, so again, on my website, if you want to head over there, I've listed out my fabrics I've used on all these blocks. So you can go there if you want to use the same fabrics as me. So that's the first purple block. So the next 2 blocks utilize pretty much the same fabrics, just in different areas of the block. So all my numbers on the left-hand side, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the second block. I'll just put a little 2 down there. I've got these cuts too, so I know. So everything on the left-hand side is this block right here. And again, I've got number 4, the same as number 3 up here. And I noticed this looks like a 3-color block on here, but on the front, I noticed that that block, you can see it right there, has this red dot in it. So they made it a 4-color block on the front. So this is my number 1 fabric in the corner, is this polka dot right here. And then these teal ones are the 2 and the 6, and that's this mineral print right here. And then 3 and 5 are these light blues, and that's this blue and teal floral print right here. And then number 4 is this purple one right here. So that's how I kept track of this second block, and here are my cuts. Here's number 1, which is the corner, and that's got the red dots in it. 2 and 6 are the teal, so 2 are the short rectangles, 6 are the 2 long ones. Then I've got light blue at 3 and 5, 3 are the short triangles, 5 are the long triangles. And then my number 4 fabric that goes right here. So these are all the cuts I need for this block, and there's enough here to make 2 blocks. So this one actually has, it shows 6 fabrics, but when I looked on the front there were 5 fabrics, and that's what these right hand colors are, or not colors, numbers are for this block. So I have 1 and 3. So the first one and the third one as this dark purple, because that's what it looks like on the front. Right here you can see it. Looks like 1 and 3 are the same. Number 2 is this dark blue hexie. Number 3, again, right here, the dark purple. Number 4, they show as the blue polka dot. Number 5 is the teal. And number 6 is the blue. Actually, I think I have these backwards, but I don't think it matters. So I have number 5 is the mineral and number 6 as the blue and teal floral. And here are my cuts for that. Here's the 1 and 3s, the corner and the third strip, my 2, is the dark blue in here. 3 is the purple again. 4 is the polka dot. 5 is the manganite. I call it manganite, that's a color. It's the mineral looking one. And then 6 out here is the blue and teal floral. So that's how my blocks are going together. It was fun trying to figure these out, but it was difficult. So if you don't want to try to figure out your colors, head over to my website, or you can pause the video and see which fabrics I used in which place. The construction is going to be just like last week. All these blocks will go together where you put the left on, iron towards that piece. Put the bottom on, iron towards that piece. Left, iron. Bottom, iron. Left, iron till you get finished. So I'm going to lay these out and I'm going to do all 6 at once. So let me get my board. Okay, so I've got all my blocks here separated per block on my cuts. So I'm going to lay out my first block, which is 1. And then I've got 2. And then this was 3. 3. 4. 5. 5. 6. And 6. Okay, there's my first block layout. So the bottom 2 layers will be this block. So the next thing I'm going to do is lay this block out so that the next 2 layers will be this one. So that's 1 and 4. This is 2 and 6. And 3 and 5. And here's 5. And then I've got this one where I've got 1. Am I confusing anybody yet? 4, 3 and 6, 3. I think I cut that 3 too long. Have to fix that. And 6. And 2. Oh no. I didn't. 3 goes there. 2, 4, or 5 and 5. So I should be able to get these together in the correct order. I know, you're probably watching me thinking I'm crazy, but I believe I can do it. I really do. I've got 2 of each in each pile, so I can just pull these off and do 6 at once. So the first thing we want to do is start putting these together in the order that they are. At this point, these 2 don't matter how they go together. Okay, there's my first squares. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. And this time we are going to be ironing, this is the only time we're going to be ironing towards that number 1 fabric. The rest of the time you're going to be ironing towards the piece you just put on. Alright, so our dark goes on the bottom. Our teal is next, and then our purple is on top. Yep. So now we want to make sure we get this on the right side. So you want to have your number 1 fabric in the corner. Turn your piece over and add it to the bottom. Pin the side you're going to sew. All right, there we go. Now we can sew all these, and we will come back and iron towards the piece we're putting on. We've got our little square made there. Now we're going to start adding the 3rd row on. And so the rest of this is going to be exactly the same. Just make sure you get it on the right side, pin the side you're going to sew, and then iron it towards the piece you just put on. So I'm going to just finish out this block, just repeating all these steps. And we'll come back and just look at and oogle or ogle over how pretty these are. Alright, got the last strip onto my medium log cabin, and I was able to show you how I did all 6 at once. You know, got my little organized piles in place and kind of kept track of my blocks as I pulled them out of the machine to iron them so that they would go back in the same order, and I would get the correct fabric for the next strip we had to put on. So there you go. Turned out really cool. I like it. There's my purple one. There's my teal. Oh, that is gorgeous. Look at that. Just lovely. And then my blue. And that one is beautiful too. So there you go. There is the medium log cabin block. So we've got 3 of these done. We've got the large and the mini. Here's the medium, and next up we are going to be doing the small log cabin. And that is going to be fun because it has a bunch of different colors in it. So I'm going to put these aside and we'll get started on the smalls. Okay. I'll probably spend the next few minutes making your eyes cross, but I'm going to walk through these blocks here and show you the colors that I picked out. And remember, these colors are all listed on my website, and I have a link down below. For each of these blocks, I'll have my colors mapped out for you. So if you don't want to have to go through all this, you can just go to my website, pick the colors that I've picked out, and cut them out. The other thing is the first 3 blocks here in our small log cabin are the same color, these purple colors. And I shouldn't say 3, I should say 6. There's 6 purple blocks here. So I know I put times 3, but you need to times it by 6 because all your cuts over here are for 1 piece and you need 6. So I've got all my pieces cut here. I've got my, I looked at the front of the pattern, picked out the fabrics that I thought were in the purple block, and this is what I came up with. So I've got the 1, which is in the corner, and I've got my 6 cuts here. 2, which is the second row. I've got my 2 cuts, 6 each here, the square and a rectangle. Number 3 is the third row, and these are just 2 different size rectangles, 6 cuts each, and the same with 4. Outer row, 2 different cuts of 6 each. So this right here will make 6 identical blocks for you. So I've been marking my fabric, and then when I make my cuts, I mark my cuts for the same fabric. So these will only really fit in certain spots, but it's still good to know which fabrics are which, because with all these colors, it can get confusing. So I just hook all of these together like this, so that when I pull it up, it's just all one. I know this is all one pile, but it's 6 blocks in here. I'm not going to get these mixed up with anything else. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull in the green and the blue down here. I'm not going to do these right now. So down here we need 2 greens and we need 2 blues. So here's my colors. Here's my green cuts. And you need to cut 2 pieces of everything for your green block and for your blue block. These are the colors I chose for my green block. The corner and the third row are going to be this dark teal. The second row is going to be this green and lime floral. And then the fourth row is going to be this teal mineral fabric. And so down here I've got 2 of all my cuts. I've got them all labeled for which fabric they are. So I am ready to go. So this will make 2 blocks right here. This is my blue. This is going the opposite way, but anyway, I'm going to put this over here, and here's my blue. So looking at the pattern, on the front we've got in the corner this blue floral, and then we've got for the second row a solid, the third row is this dark blue mineral, and then the fourth row looks to be this dark blue hexy. Again, 2 cuts from all of our fabrics right here, so all of this will make 2 blocks. Got them all together, so I know these are my 2 blue blocks. Okay, now to the really kind of confusing one. So these blocks are 3 different blocks, kind of in the same colors, orange to lime green, lime yellow, whatever you want to call it. And all of these will need 2 cuts also to make 2 blocks, but these blocks share fabrics. So I kind of had to come up with a system to figure out how to cut these and get them into the correct block. So I numbered these 1, 2, 3. The 1 is mostly the orangish red, 2 is the yellow orange, and 3 I will call the yellow. So then I had to look at the front and figure out what fabrics they used in each. And for this block, which is the number 1 block, in the corner is this polka dot. So that's why I labeled it fabric 1, and then the little number is my first block. But it's also the second row in the second block. So this is the number 2 fabric also in the second block. So that's why I have a 2 and a 2. Second fabric, second block. First fabric, first block. So I know how to separate them when I cut them. And here's the second fabric in the first block. Again, right here, the second row, first block, but it's also the corner block in the second one. So, first fabric, second block, second fabric, first block. That's how I did it. When there were multiple fabrics in a block. I had just a little, I had enough red left for the third fabric in the first block, and then this is the outer edge of that first block, number 4 fabric, first block. And here we go, this is the third fabric in the second block, the fourth fabric, the outer part of the second block, and then in this block here, and if you look at the front, this block sits next to the large intersection block that we did in the beginning, and one of these colors runs into one of those colors. So that's why this is a 2 and a 4. So it's the second and the 4th row in this block. And I put a little 3 because this is the third block. And then this is the third fabric in the third block. Here's all my cuts for all that fabric I just showed you. And down here in the corner shows that this is block 1, this is block 2, this is block 3. And then my fabrics are labeled within these. And then they're all together so they don't get mixed up. 2 cuts of everything in these because you've got 2 blocks you have to do for each one of these. So, there you go. Crossed your eyes, didn't I? There's all the blocks I have to put together. All of these over here, I have to make 2 of each. This one, I have to make 6. So, the construction is exactly the same as the medium, the mini, and the large log cabin. So what I'm just going to show you is how I'm going to lay these out to mass produce them. So that you can see how I do it. You can do it the same way. You can, maybe take some parts of this for yourself to do it, but I don't want to do one block at a time. I want to do multiple. So that's what I'm going to show you here, is just how I mass produce these. Whew! Not gonna lie, this took a while. This probably took a couple hours picking these out, trying to figure them out. So again, head to my website if you just want to know which fabrics to pull to make the same blocks. Makes it easy on you. Anyway, let's get started making these. I've got my purple laid out, the 6 blocks that it's going to make. Number 1 fabric is here in the corner. Number 2 fabric is right here, and I've got the smaller piece on the left and the larger piece on the bottom. Number 3 fabric, smaller piece on the left, larger piece on the bottom. Number 4 fabric, smaller piece on the left, larger piece on the bottom. That's how it's laid out. That's how all the log cabins have been laid out that we've done so far. So this right here, I can chain piece 6 of these. But I'm just going to go ahead and put all of these on there. There's all 16 blocks laid out so that when I start working on these, I can pick the top 2 up and they'll go in the correct block. Get all these sewn together, lay them back down, put them in, put these onto it. So since it's just like the last time, I'm just going to sit here and start putting these together. You'll get to see how I do a couple of them, and then we'll come back and look at them all. Okay, I finished up my small log cabin. This block really wasn't that hard to put together. It didn't take a lot of time, especially the way I laid it out. And the biggest thing to remember to getting your blocks back in place to chain piece them like I did was just iron them by block color and then lay them out so that the corner's in the upper right hand side, and then they will be put back in the right order. And I mean, the last blocks I did were my purple ones, so those are the first one to come off the machine, and that way when I was ready these would be the first ones down, and so they'd be the bottom of the pile basically. But yeah, just remember to iron towards the piece you just sewed on. And that's about it. Not too much. It really is exactly like the other 3 log cabin blocks we've done so far. And these colors are just gorgeous. Just absolutely beautiful. So, again, if you want to use the colors I used and you don't want to have to fuss around with figuring it out, head over to my website. There's a link down below. I've listed out all the colors for all the blocks that I did today. And they're by color name, just like in the legend in the book, so you can find the color real quick. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. Hit the subscribe button, notification bell. You'll get notified as I put these blocks out and we put this together, and you get notified of all the fun stuff I got going on here. And I had fun making these blocks. I had fun making this video. And I will See you in the next video. Bye. Just wanted to show you that I am keeping all my log cabins I've done so far in this Ziploc bag that I had here. I'm just going to keep all the log cabins inside this bag. And then this bag is just going to stay safe inside this Ziploc bag with my big intersection blocks. So there you go, that's how I organize them. And I have links to this bag down below because I love them. Love these bags. You can see through them, they zip up, and they protect your fabrics. So anyway, I'll see you in the next video.